Basically, all that I've done right now is I have the Twitch chat open, by the way, and the Slack open. So if you guys have any questions and you don't want to like necessarily ask me or like yell it out, which you can totally do if you want to just yell it out, you can message us in Slack and I'll look at it because we don't have Google Slides, so I can't have those questions. Nick, is the stream working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, cool. So basically what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be breaking into a box. The box is just a server, a locally ran server on my computer. It's a virtual machine that Nick created, and I'm going to show you the process of like how I find the box, how I scan the box, how I break into a box, and how I get root on the box. I don't necessarily, for the purposes of this tutorial, I won't be like showing you how to set up or load the VM. This is if you're just trying to break into a server by any means. And you don't have access to that, or you were doing it over the internet, which don't do unless you have permission from the owner of that box. So first, just make sure I'm on the host-only network. So yeah, this is my IP address, my local IP address for the box. So because I know that what network I'm on, I can try and scan that. So first, really quickly, I'm just gonna tmux into a window, and I'm going to do a net discover tac r and then my IP address and my subnet. Basically, what this is going to do is scan all the hosts on this network, which I think I need to do that. That's strange. Ping 192.168.56.
Should be 101.
101. Yeah, that's up. Okay. So net discover is sometimes finicky. Another way you can do it is if you want to do host discovery on Nmap. So if I do tac sv and 192.168.56.0 and then press enter, it'll show me, let's just do this then. This should scan my network for all hosts. I'm a little rusty, so don't make fun of me too much. Another thing you can do is if you have Nessus.
You're doing service enumeration for everything. It's going to be slow.
Oh, dang, I am?
Yeah, that's the service. Oh, my bad.
No, I'm not.
I misread your command. Rough. I'm sorry.
Nick, trying to make me redo everything. I'm going to do no ping to see if it's a little faster. Another thing you can do is run, what's it called, Nessus, so sudo system ctl enable, or I think I already enabled it, but start Nessus. If I go to my IP address 192 and go to scans, I think I need to enable it. Sudo service Nessus d start. Basically, I'm just starting the service Nessus, but Nessus is it's a vulnerability scanner. You can get a free trial from it for it, and it allows you to scan up to 16 IPs at once. I've been able to scan more, but I don't know if it means, I think it just means 16 concurrent scans. I don't think it means 16 IPs. But if we connect to my IP address and the port, it's just starting up the plugins. I already set this up, so it shouldn't take too long. We can check back my my IP. So the Nmap scan came in, and basically what it did is it showed me that there is another box with the IP address of 192.168.56.101 right here. And it told me that because I did a really really fast scan, because I just wanted to see what boxes were on the network, it doesn't show me much information. All it shows me is the MAC address, the IP address, and the services that are running on it. And you know, this is good information. I'm just gonna log into Nessus real quick. This is good information and all, but like SSH is a standard service. Telenet, although it's a really outdated service, still kind of just a standard service. HTTP and SD, all of these, or SD looks weird actually. I don't know what SD is. I'm gonna have to look more into that. But these, I don't know much information about these services, so I want to know more. So I can nmap tech sv, and then I can do 192.168.56.101, and it's basically just going to give me the, it's just going to scan that one IP address instead of scanning the entire network. And I have a corrupt Zish file, or Zish history, so it's wonderful. So while this is running, I can go over to Nessus real quick and create a new scan. And I just want to do a basic network scan of an IP address. So I can just type in the IP address right here, and I can name this Nix box. And I think that's all I want. So I can definitely go in and like change what kind of ports. So I can do all ports or common ports. For the purposes of this tutorial, I think I can just use common ports. Nick's not looking at me, so I'm just going to use all ports.
Yeah,
So
I don't know what common ports are.
It says right there.
Yeah, but I don't know like what all that includes.
It's like 1 to 10,000, I think. 1 to 1,000.
It's 1 to 10,000, you'll get it. There's no ports above 10,000 on the box.
Okay, well I'm going to do all ports because Nick's, you know, nice. And I'm going to save, and I'm going to start the scan. So while that's scanning, I'm going to come back to Nmap, and I see some pretty cool stuff. I can see that the box has Apache 2.4.7. It's running Ubuntu because it's running a version of SSH that has Ubuntu. Again, the Ubuntu part of it is it's kind of iffy because it could be running a version of Ubuntu SSH that like on another box. It's really, Nmap can sometimes mess that up. It's not necessarily 100% accurate on the OS that it's detecting. So I'm just going to, and sorry if I don't know if the stream can hear my fans, but my fans are kind of blasting right now because I'm running like 2 VMs, Nessus and Kali. It's getting intense. So I want to hack into one of these services. You know, Apache seems like a good place to start. The others, if you notice before, this just said SD and that it was open, but now we can see that it is an Apache service and the version number that it's running. I don't know how long this Nessus scan is going to take. So far, it has found not really much. Nessus is, for the most part, says vulnerability, but it's just like blues, which is just information. If it finds anything that's red, that's like a golden egg where you can break into it, usually with a red, unless it's a DOS, in which case don't do that. So I see that it's Apache 2.47. Now there is a way that you can use searchsploit with this. So if I were to have done tac ox nmap.xml and scanned, it would have gone into searchsploit. But for the purposes of this, I don't really like using searchsploit because we have Nmap or Nessus running. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to exploitdb and search, or I'm going to just search for, oh, this found stuff. Oh, this found a lot of stuff. Okay, cool. So yellow is more or less nicer than blue because it's something that could be. Yellow is not necessarily something that is vulnerable. So it says that we have arbitrary directory listing. So if I go to the IP address, And I think it's port 80, so I believe it was port 80. So if I just do that, oh, look, I can look at a ton of stuff in the into the file. Oh, there's a README. Should I open the README, Nick?
I don't know.
I'm gonna open the README because you know there might be passwords in there. I've never had a password. Oh, I have to save the README. So normally you would want to put this on a virtual environment because if you just save files, but I'm just gonna open it. Actually, I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna just open it, and it says this is a server get server, my dude, and it has the get information or the link to it. So it's simple, my dudes. So that wasn't really too helpful other than the fact that it's a get server. Again, it could be a get server. He could be doing a README just to throw me off. This is Nick after all. So if I come back and look at the scan, I wonder if it's done. My scans. Yeah, it completed. So we didn't get anything critical, but we did get that there are there's an unencrypted unencrypted Telenet password, and so all I have to do is root password to log into Telenet.
Oh, I didn't give you the objective. Okay, your objective is to find a file that's in var dark army.
Okay, so there is a file in var dark army that I need to get because I'm F Society and I have to hack stuff. So let me just quickly put my hood up. Just like, sorry for whoever's on the Twitch stream and had to hear that on their mic. But so I'm gonna log into this SSH server or this server and quickly, do some stuff. So if I telenet and I telenet to 192.168, I haven't used telenet in a really long time, so we're gonna have a learning experience. And I'm basically just typing in the password that it gave me. And what do you know? I'm in, guys. I'm in, boys. This seems really easy, right? Like, this wouldn't actually happen. But you'd be surprised of how many people have open Telenet servers just like lying around with default credentials of admin password or root password. I'm not satisfied with this method, though. I'm on the box, but there should be other ways to be on the box.
Are you sure? Are you on the box?
Oh, that's a good question. Am I on the box? So let's see, who am I? I'm root. So I can, let me see if I can go around here. CD var, CD dark army, cat loot. Oh, you're in a honeypot, my dude. I'm not on the box. What a wonderful time. So this actually happens quite a bit if you're, if you're not in a scenario where you're pen testing for a company and you're pen testing and you're doing covert maybe, or if you're just practicing, people put honeypots around all the time. So you have to make sure you're not in one. And they don't usually tell you with a text file and ASCII art that you're in a honeypot, but this case they did to save us some time of me digging around. You can typically tell you're in a honeypot if it's jail. And to tell if it's jail, I don't know. What's the command to tell if it's jail?
You can do a handful of things, and not all of them work. You can check your root directory to see if there's a Docker in file, because that'll tell you that you're in Docker. This one's not. I know that because I set it up. You can check what PID0 is. I don't remember what the command to do that is. But if PID0 is not your init system, you know you're in a honeypot.
So yeah, you can do that. But I'm at a dead end now. I went down a rabbit hole and it didn't work, and that's just how pen testing is. So I see that there's another port here. I don't know if that's going to be relevant, so I'm going to exit out of this because I don't really care about this anymore. Actually, is this really? Yeah, this is just a jail on the network. Wonderful. Okay. So I'm going to Telenet.
Oh, yeah, you also just demonstrated something good. You checked your interfaces, and you can see the IP address that you have is not one that you logged into.
Yeah, so that's something that's really good. that if you're on a box and you notice that your IP address is not what you logged into, that typically means something fishy is happening. It doesn't necessarily mean you're in a jail, but it could mean that they have two different interfaces on that device, or an interface that is ported to another IP address or another box. So you have to be careful in that sense, that you're breaking into the box you intend to. So if I continue going through all this stuff, we're rolling up my sleeves because it's about to get difficult. I can telnet. I can try telnetting into what is the telnet for port P? I haven't telnetted in like a really long time, so I'm gonna guess that is that a thing?
You just append the port after this goes.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. 192.68.5.6.101 and then I type in root password. Are we in a jail again? It looks like it, my dudes. So that telnet stuff is a dead end. So we done deal, we outie. We make notes of that. If you're doing a pen test and you have like an objective, it's really good to take notes to not do that. But since this is such a short, Nessus may have an exploit. So let's see what this does. Okay. Did that do anything for me? I don't think it did. Let's read what this actually had to say. Nessus was able to exploit the issue using the following requests. So it looks like we gave it an invalid header to get in using an Apache server exploit. Now, I wonder if this is a Metasploit. Is this a Metasploit? It's not a Metasploit. Okay, so Nick saved me some time, and I don't have to go dig around for that. So it looks like this process is truncated output from the first 10 lines. So this is the part where like I'm actually trying to think. So if I don't I'll say my thought process, but like I don't know everything. So I'm going to be, if you guys have a hint or you guys know something, feel free to tell me. But I'm going to actually just be experimenting here. So if we do this request, we get this back. And can we enumerate anything from here? So if we try to go to different places, it doesn't look like it. Can we go to an actual directory? So if I do root etc pass wd.
You want to explain what you're doing?
So I'm basically trying to enumerate the amount of information I can on the web server. I don't know where this web server is, and I don't know what paths I'm allowed to view. And instead of just dir busting it to the oblivion, which I could do, I'm just kind of checking some key points to see if there's anything useful.
I mean, you already have, like, they said, oh, this is a valid address, might as well check that, right?
Yeah, they said this is valid, so might as well check it. It'd seem.
I mean, in the README.
This?
No. The README that was posted on the website had some information in it, right?
This one?
Yeah.
It's a get server?
Yeah. Why not check what's in? Oh, never mind.
That-
I thought that had, like, different. My bad.
I mean, I can check get to see if there's anything. Ooh, that gave something funky back. Good thinking, Jake. So if I continue down the rabbit hole, I get more funky stuff back. There's no request, so I wonder if I inspect elements and I view what's on. There's literally nothing. Okay, well, what's the request doing? Where's networking? There it is. Reload. So it looks like, what are we doing here? It's just 404 because it's not found. Yeah, it's just not found.
Okay. I have more thoughts. If you are, ooh, I'm not supposed to give. Am I allowed to give him hints?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. So
Wait, does Jake know the answer?
No.
no,
Oh, okay.
I knew that you were gonna get bamboozled by a honeypot, and that's what he's been giggling about.
You know, that took me all 5 minutes though, so I think I'm okay. What's your hint, Jake?
Okay, so the README said blah blah blah. This is a Git server. Gave you that address /git /simple config. That README was in root /simple config, right? Maybe it's
Well, I don't know if it's in root.
well web root is what I'm saying. In the root of the web servers. Okay.
Yeah, in the web server.
Yeah. And then it added that extra. You're getting 404 forward right here.
Yeah.
The README said like there's stuff at git /simple.
So
Maybe
get clone.
What I'm saying is maybe behind the web root is a directory called git. I don't know. You're more experienced at this than me. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah, no, so what I'm getting from you is I should get the address to see if there's anything, because it's a get server. So I should use get on it, right? That seems logical. Anyone disagree with me? No? Okay, I guess I'll just use that. So we're going to get, so if I don't know if I saved. So I'm just going to, where am I actually? I'm going to go to downloads. I'm going to get http://192.168.0 or .56.101/git/simple config. Is not a get command. Oh, I don't have clone in front of it because I'm not smart. Ooh, what is this? It is just the README. It's just a simple get server, my dudes. Is there anything? I mean, there's get, but that's it. What's funny though is that I don't know too much about get, but I copied it as a root, so maybe that has to do something with the file as a root. So at this point, I'm going to look and read up some more about this. This link says there's more information. Oh, I forgot that I don't have internet on this box. So I'm going to use my internet. I'll keep everything on the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. But this is on my local box. So if I just copy this. Should be able to read the HTTP 1.3 vulnerability. Not fixed in HTTP 1.3. It is a mod reverse proxy that is open. This is showing me how to fix it. I don't want to fix it. I want to break into it. So I'm going to look up this exploit. So Apache 1.3. Let's see this. Oh, there is Metasploit for this, but maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. Oh, this is just the scanner. Proxy bypass scanner. So let's continue searching around. Remote exploit for this. So it's not so if you're in a working environment, it's not advised to just like download exploit.db code and run it, because it could be anything unless you know what it's doing. I'm just gonna kind of read through these and see what they're doing to see if I can figure out for myself how to build one. Looks like it gets a request from the target IP. And it looks like we have to give it a file that it can use to remote to the host. So if we can see, is that the same number that it's giving us for the CV 3368? 3368. So this is the exploit for it. Internal target IP. So this is a proof of concept, which typically means you don't want to run it on a production box if you're doing a test. But because, you know, this is just a box that I'm messing around with, we'll download it. I'm gonna copy it because I have to copy it onto this box. So let's put this away. So we're gonna put that over there. So I'm going to vim exploit.py, and I should be able to paste in, or not. Sorry, I was checking to see if there's any questions. Oh, I did paste in, but that's really janky. Yeah, I don't want that. So a better way to do that is if I go to, that's not what I wanted. This is what happens when you messed up your hotkeys. So if I go to 6 real quick, I can copy this, and then I can go back to 2, my workspace 2, and I can wget, I can switch my thing to internet, so I have internet now. So now I have, that's not what I wanted. Copy link location. Remove index. Wget. So now I have that. I can see from looking at the code, if I vim really quickly, looking at the bottom, or looking simply just at this, it says to use it, we use the URL of the server that we're giving, and then the host, then the path that we want to go to. So Python Apache scan, which is not the name I gave it, tac R for the website, and then the path to the file we want to do. And so well, I wonder if this is going to open up a shell, or if I have to create a netcat session.
So this is a file disclosure vulnerability.
I've never, that's new to me.
So this is just for data exfiltration. This won't get you a session.
Wonderful.
And this is also not the exploit you should be using, just a heads up.
Wonderful. Okay, so I don't need to use this. You won't have a trusty guy like Nick to tell you you're doing something wrong. So I would have ran that, found that it would just give me information, and that I didn't need to use it. So I'm going to cancel that. But there should be an exploit here. Let's go back to the vulnerabilities and see if there's anything else that might be. Remote service using arcfork stream with no cipher is due to weak keys. So this might be useful. There might be a weak SSH key that we can exploit here. And so this is actually probably a lot easier than running Python exploits. So
and you also have like a whole extra web server that you haven't looked at yet, right? It's on port 9000 or whatever.
Where did that go? Where did that information go? I think I put it back. No.
Not saving your Nmap results?
No, I did, because it's tmux. So I just scroll up. So, yeah, I missed this. This is why you take notes. I'm not taking notes right now, but I should. So, if we go to this website, so I'm just going to remove this, and I'm going to put 9876. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So this looks like a login page. I wonder if they have root and password as the password. Doesn't look like it. What about admin? Password. Nope. No bueno. Let's go to forums. This is.
You received a suggestion.
Wait, what? I think I found my problem here. I need to connect. I was connecting to an IP address of an actual server.
No, that's internal.
That's internal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Then I was on the right one. My bad. Okay. So we can try SQL injection or SQL map. But let's look around first because we don't want to be loud. We don't know what we're doing. So is a network foreseen analyst tool. That's useful. What about licensing? So looks like the only useful thing is the login page that I can see. I don't know if this has we can try SQL map, but I don't know if this will give us information. But because you suggested it, I'll try it. You know, might as well.
It's going to be like the right answer. You can all laugh at me.
Yeah, you can laugh at me. It's okay. So SQL map. I haven't used SQL map in a really long time. So we have to find a place where we can inject the SQL map, or we can inject stuff into. So I'm gonna quickly look up. Gosh dang it! This is what happens when you don't hotkey stuff. So I'm gonna quickly look up SQL map location or commands. See if we can find some tutorial on it. So we need to find a place where there's a database to inject to. We don't know if this is necessarily has it. We don't know if that website has it, or that web link has a database necessarily. I think that it's best if we to enumerate a little bit more of the website, and I don't want to run that because it's really loud, and not that I care about being loud, but it also takes a really long time to run, and if it's, you know, I want to have more information on the website before I go about scanning it like that. So if we go back to here and we see that this, I'm going to move this to my second workstation, and I'm going to search about this exploit. Or I think this is what version about. Wiki. Does that just take me to another website? It just takes me to another website.
Wait. Don't you not have like external internet access on your VM?
No, he does.
He does?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, pcaps total. all the data has been deleted. Max PCAP size, there's no limit. So I can, there should be, it looks like there's an upload of total PCAP size if there's a limit, max file size. Let's look up a default login. So why not? The web interface. The default is admin, so we're gonna try to log in here. Admin, and that works. So again, you'd be surprised how many people actually have their default username and password for services. Before you go and scan WordPress, WordPress doesn't have a default password. You have to set it. So, cool. Now we have more information. So let's see what we can do here. Current max accepted size is 500 megabytes. To change this, we don't want that. I want to go back to my admin page. That's where the juicy stuff is. So we can see, we can add a user, we can do the config. It is an SQL server for reference. So I'm guessing it would have, if we ran SQL map, it would have ran a small list of default passwords, and it would have probably gotten into it this way. But again, we didn't need to do all that because we just searched the default password and it was using that. So we can now go and see what the configuration is for these. This is the configuration side. Can we click on any of this stuff? No, there's just information. So the version is 0.2. So I wonder what happens if we say exp version 0.20 exploit. Oh, what do you know? So it looks like there's Rapid7, by the way, are the people who made Metasploit. So that's, that looks like it could be helpful. And I will say that this is actually using this is actually pretty beneficial because we can just test it. And if Metasploit ran it, if they have it on Metasploit, it usually means it's tested in some environments, which means we can run it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Who cares? So I'm going to just copy the name of this exploit. And then I'm going to move this to workstation 6, MSF console. And I'm assuming y'all are following along because no one's asking any questions. So is everyone good? Yeah? Okay, cool. So I'm starting Metasploit. My keyboard is getting extremely hot right now, so my fingers are burning. But I can use multi-handler options. Set lhost to 192.168.0.56.100. Set lport. I don't need to do that. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just loading up Metasploit. I'm using a multi-handler. What a multi-handler does is it basically is just a payload handler that allows me to receive multiple sessions. I don't necessarily need it because I'm only breaking into one box, but it's really useful for if you have multiple sessions of that box open. So you have a 64-bit, a 32-bit, or if you're running multiple exploits on that one box. It's really helpful for that. Other than that, there's no real reason you need to use it other than just convenience. So if I use this, I can see the options. And I can set our host to 192.168. What was the box? 56.101. And I'm just setting the R host. The R host is basically the attack IP address, the one I want to attack. I can also set payload to be, I believe that it's CMD Unix reverse. Actually, I don't want that one. Payload to be, I forgot what payload I usually use. It's like, actually I don't need payload. I can just run it. It sets a default payload. So before you think I'm not running it without a payload, it has a default payload that it prefers to use. Targets, show target.
You need to change your NIC you're currently attached to the NAT interface.
You right. Okay, so showing targets just shows the different machines you can run on the exploit. So if you're running, for example, Eternal Blue, there are different targets you can set, whether it's 64-bit, 32-bit, all that stuff. In this case, there's just automatic, I guess. So, or it's just showing me that I'm set to automatically detect whatever target there is. So if I exploit, no payload set. Okay. It doesn't set a default payload anymore. It used to. Or I guess my War Machine I had set a default payload, so it automatically. But this is a VM, so I don't have my default payload set. So set payload. I honestly don't remember what payload, what the path to the payload was. I'm going to close out of all of this. So I'm going to Metasploit payload list. The reason I'm not searching for it inside of Metasploit is because it's in a VM and it's really slow, and so that's just going to take up a ton of time. So the payload, I guess Unix interpreter is the one that I want to use. So let's go back to this and Unix. I guess these are the only payloads that I can use. I'm just going to do the reverse netcat. Set lhost 192.168.56.100. What happens when you mistype? And the port doesn't really matter. I don't know why I LS'd. But I can exploit now. And it should be running. And let's see if we get anything. One session opened. So we have a session. No, ls. So we are on the box, which is good. But we need to see who am I. And I'm root. What do you know? So if I go back, I can see that I was just in the default directory for this. cd, what was it, var? Dark Army. Catloot.txt. Complete. Or congrats. So I got root on the box, and I got my objective that F Society was trying to take the loot. So I got the loot. There are more methods. Nick told me there's a lot more methods on this box than what I just did, because he told me there's 3 methods to getting user. But this was the easiest, and that's all that matters, is getting root on the box. So that took me way longer than I thought it would.
You want me to walk through the other ones, or you want to do it?
I'll go through the other. I mean, I want to try to do the other ones. So I'm on the box, right? And I have root. That's dandy and all. But I want to see what other exploits are on the box, because if you're doing a penetration test for a company and you're a good penetration tester, you want to find all the vulnerabilities, not just the fastest one. Of course, you want to find the fastest one so you can get on the box. But when you're on the box, now you have some time to enumerate and see if there's anything else that you can exploit. So before I continue this, is there another way to get on the box without being root? Did I just not find it? Is it the SSH one with the no? Is that a dead end?
Yeah. So when you're dealing with Nessus scans, to give you access, they're likely just going to allow you to decrypt traffic.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not useful for pen tests.
Yeah. So that wasn't useful at all. But what are the other? I mean, did it show on my Nessus scans?
No.
It didn't.
Nope.
Oh, I have to enumerate it.
You've already found it. You're just not going the right way. It's the Git server.
It's the Get server.
It's the Git server.
What can I do with a Get server? I've never exploited Get before.
I know.
Nick likes to give me challenges. I'm trying to think, what can I possibly do? Okay, so I don't really care about this anymore. This is boring. I'm gonna close this session. I'm gonna exit out.
Just some background information on Explico. So that vulnerability was found it was published back in January, so it's actually really new. And Explico is popular software found on the Security Onion appliance, open source appliance, which is used for basically a general purpose blue teaming security VM. And it's actually 3 exploits put together, which is fairly neat. And so they found a vulnerability that allowed you to arbitrarily add users, arbitrarily confirm user accounts, and then arbitrarily accept payloads from authenticated users. So they chained those 3 payloads together in a really nice Metasploit module that allows you to do a decently complex exploit like via Metasploit very quickly. And so if you were dealing with this in a corporate environment that had deployed Security Onion but wasn't practicing like updates because it's a niche box, this would probably still be exploitable today because the patch came out in December.
So, for anyone who doesn't think that would have actually happened, it could have. That being said, with patching is like most companies have to have a service time or a time that they service all boxes. So if an exploit comes out and goes under the radar for a while, or it's right before the service patch, if it's a bad company, they'll just wait until the service patch comes out or the service patch time comes out and then patch everything. So that leaves a really big window for you to break into stuff with that exploit. But that's if you're doing a long running test or you get lucky and the exploit just comes out when you're doing the pen test. Or you're just doing malicious stuff, which you should not do. It's illegal. You can go to jail. This is the Get server I have to break into. I'm going to switch to the other. I'm going to switch to Google for searching. I'm not ashamed of using Google to search for things. So I'm going to break out. Gosh dang it. I always load up burp. So I don't care about this anymore. Let's do Apache 2.4.7 get exploit, because why not? I don't think that's it.
I'm gonna think out loud, and this might not be helpful at all, and they might be stupid thoughts. So feel free to ignore me if they're stupid. But so
I ignore you regardless. I'm just kidding.
keep doing you. So when you navigate to git/simpleconfig, you get forward, right?
Yeah.
But you can still clone it from command line with git.
Yes.
That seems sort of weird to me. I think my first go-to would be to.
Well, if it's a Get server, you shouldn't be able to access. I don't think you can go to Get servers with the HTTP and see the files.
I don't know enough about Git.
I don't either. I'm just spitballing here. I'm looking at Nick's face to see what information he's going to give. Another quick tip about penetration testing: social engineering. It's really helpful. You can tell when you're on the right track whether Nick smiles or not.
I'm generally smiling when you're on the wrong track.
Exactly. So when he's smiling, I'm on the wrong track. But now that I've told him this, he's probably going to smile when I'm on the right track. Now I can't, because I told y'all that method, I'm not going to be able to tell by his face anymore. Not that I was able to anyway. So I think I switched Nick's. I'm going to just kind of search around for stuff. As we know, there's nothing really helpful here anymore that I.
On that page is what useful to you.
So it's kind of pointless at this point to use this. I really wonder what happens if I were to give Nessus the Telnet information for for the honeypot and see what it does. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to new scan. What was the, actually need to go back and see what the password was.
It's the third route.
It's root password.
Root password, okay.
Does the third route involve breaking out of the honeypot?
No.
Is there any
There's only 2 routes to get on the box. And there's 2 routes once you get on the box to get root.
both routes to get on the box though were root.
This one will get you onto the box. And not this one. The get exploit will get you on the box, but you won't be root. So then you have to get root after that.
But I want to actually see what this happens if we give Nessus the username and password and like let it scan the jail. I want to see if it finds anything in the jail. So I'm going to go root password, new scan. Is there like a system scan one?
I think it's just advanced scan. And then you go to your 2 credentials.
192.168.56.101 internal and then credentials and
Just for funsies, next time we should make like one of those in the end that everyone can SSH into and make a race.
space race.
Problem is where we host it.
Yeah.
So root,
And that's for SNMP though. I don't know if they have Telnet.
I don't think they have Telnet. Yeah, I don't think I can Telnet. I don't think I can give it Telnet. Oh well, that whatever. If you had SSH credential, oh wait, I have root. Then anyways, that's cheating. I'm not gonna do that. That's cheating. Exiting out of Nessus. Well, okay, so this is I don't need this anymore. This is where I should be working, is figuring out what I can do with this. All I know is that it's this version of Apache. There's a get server on it. Don't know what version of get there is on it.
Again, just spitballing. Like, I wonder if there's a way to like push a payload of your choosing onto the get server, and if it's going to. Social engineering, man, he gave me a look. I got a feeling.
He gave me a look like that's not right. I wonder what, like, let's just get clone some stuff on the IP. See what happens. So get clone. If we do that, that means that I'm going to have to push a payload and run the payload. So wait a minute. I know what you're thinking. So if I get clone, go back to that. I don't want to type it. I'm lazy. One thing you'll be when you're a pen tester is you'll get more and more lazy with typing things, because why type things when you can copy them? Not copy as in the like plagiarism sense, but like copy as in the ls cd simple config. So let's write to a file. Touch, or let's cd or vim readme. Nix baddie spells baddie wrong, but that's okay. Get push, or get add, get commit, tac m, Jake's smart sometimes, get push, username. How do I enumerate that? It's getting interesting, boys. You look like you have an idea. No? Oh, okay. Username. I wonder. Get default username and password. Again, I've never done this before, so we're gonna find out if that's a thing. You know what? We're going to try root. Because root's always a user, right? I'm like going to be totally wrong and embarrass myself. But oh well. Root. Root. Nope. That didn't work. But it did give us a little bit, I guess, a little bit more information. That's RPC there. Am I gonna have to create a payload for this? Nickelodeon. And we get banned from Twitch for copyright. Anyways, so what? I do not want to ask her. Have I asked for a single hint from him? Like, I have not, so I don't want any more.
You sort of like given the puppy dog eyes and coerced him into hunting, but no explicit.
So I haven't like given you any pushes in the right direction. I've just been like, okay, quit doing this because you're wrong.
Yeah, so basically what would have happened there would have been I would have been doing this for hours and instead of like an hour. Gosh dang. That's actually, gosh dang it, why'd you give me a hint now? Now I know too much. Okay, so I'm gonna, let's get good. That's gonna be the next command. The payload's gonna be called get good. So find the, so I guess we're just gonna see if there's anything we can do to enumerate. Again, Google is our friend here. So let's do enumerating get server. I don't want a script. Why do people write scripts for everything? I just want to know. I don't like this. If only Nessus had a get scanner. Apparently I'm going hard mode now. Maybe there's something in the get config? I don't know if that's a thing. Let's check it out. So I'm gonna close this. ls-la cd.get. There is stuff in the get. cd config, cd or ls cat config. So not necessarily anything information in there. Let's cat info or cd info. Cat exclude. That's not helpful. I'm getting good at get now, so you're gonna learn with me here. I don't think this is gonna give us anything. Cat description. There's one. Ooh, what's this? Cat index or cat index. I don't know what that is. It's a get index. What can we do with that? I don't know.
This is a far-fetched idea, and I don't actually think it's useful. But like Nessus mentioned, like the weak encryption or whatever on SSH. I'm pretty sure Git is
SSH based?
Yeah. So if you had some way to.
He said no, but he looked no. Can you break the key with I don't. But there wasn't anything useful in that, like that, because it was for SSH credentials that were like weak, but I still would need to crack them. Weak and being open, two different things. No, I don't want a hint. What?
Yeah, it's just RSA, man. RSA does it all the time.
And NSA, if you're watching, don't arrest us. I'm pretty sure I'm already on a list. And Nick is, just for knowing Linux. Anyways, I wonder what we can do with that get index. Is that the username? I have access technically to the computer because the VM is there, so it shows me the username. But I'm not gonna. I don't think that's
You don't have the username.
the. Yeah, I do. I have the username to the box.
What is it?
That's so much leet. I can't.
That's the host name.
Oh, that's the host name.
Forensics, my dude.
Forensics. So much leet. Forensics, my dude. Okay.
Next book out. What else would it be for?
Okay. So we're gonna continue on. Let me go back to. I don't know what to Google here. Apache 2.4.7 get exploit or get. Nick's laughing bothers me.
Why?
What is this? Options bleed, HTTP, HTTP access. I wonder if I can get to that. Or let's search for it in here. Nick's smiling is bothering me too. Someone cover Nick's face up. Okay, let's go back to, gosh dang it. Let's go back to searching for information.
I can give you a really mediocre hint.
I don't want a hint.
Okay.
Keep your hints to yourself. Hints are not Gucci for me. Oh wait, what is it? Oh, I saw something useful. Don't publicly expose .get. Here's how you can download your get. Why would I not want to publicly expose .get? What information's in there? Tell me the information. And thus we're reading a tutorial. I'm reading a tutorial while giving a tutorial. Hacking for you. I don't think this gives me information I need. Why did I click on that? I don't want that. Get exploit. Get repository exploit. Using get clone to pwn 3D. I'm just gonna look at stuff now. I think this is the same thing. Reset hard nose, reset LS. I think this is just getting, you can just get the, I don't think this actually does anything. enumeration. Get username, password, enumeration. What does this do? Start username enumeration. I honestly don't know what this does. I'm reading it and it's just not working.
That's for him.
Nick really wants me to ask for a hint because he knows he wins if I ask for a hint. So I would rather not break into a box than ask for a hint. I don't know you a single wing. We never agreed on any of that. And technically speaking, I broke into the box without needing a hint. So I would have already won the bet. My dude.
No, he got into the honeypot, and then the metasploitable one ended up getting root. I didn't realize that was a root level exploit.
Also wanted to bring up the second honeypot.
And guessable user accounts. Let's guess some user accounts.
No brute forcing.
There's no brute forcing? Ah, wonderful. I wonder what I could do here.
Is it a vulnerability in the version of Git itself?
That's a hint. What if I... Let's push. Gosh dang it. I wonder what happens.
It's giving a
What?
it's giving a HTTP error code.
Yeah, because we're pushing it with HTTP.
So, but authentication is still over SSH.
Authentication still over HTTP.
It's over. Okay. Authentication is over. Just to make sure.
Yeah. I've never broken into Git stuff, so y'all are learning with me.
You could just ask for a hint.
Should I ask for a hint? He's like, yeah, you should ask for a hint.
But before you do that, let me ask on your behalf to maybe save you some embarrassment. Is it authenticating over HTTP?
Yeah.
Unencrypted.
Yep.
Is that more or less the hint that you want to give?
No, that's not even close.
What? That doesn't help with anything. If it's unencrypted over,
Man in the middle if someone else is authenticating.
yeah, it's not like he's logging in the box every 5 seconds for me to be like, let me just steal his passwords.
Like I said, the majority of the time, the crypto vulnerabilities are just going to disclose information of other users. And we have no other users in this case.
I have to. There is a username and password in a file somewhere that Nick has placed for me. Therefore, I must find it.
Do you want a hint?
Give me like 10 more minutes and see if I can figure it out.
I told Alan the answer. He's amused.
Why does Alan's always amused? Tell him, has he figured out his PC yet? Our friend Alan is building a computer right now, and he's not.
And he didn't come because he's building a computer.
Yeah, he didn't come because he's building a computer that he doesn't. That's broken because he broke it because he doesn't know how to fix it. Hi, Alan, if you're watching.
Yes.
Learn how to build a computer. I wonder if I can do that. So I'm gonna try and just like set no or make it push with no username password, like, and not blank, because blank, empty and no authentication are two separate things. So I wonder if I can make it go with no authentication. So I'm gonna search how to do that. So get push no authentication, without authentication. That's SSH keys. I don't care about that. A common mistake is cloning using HTTP instead of HTTP. Ooh. I wonder if that's it. I was cloning with HTTPS when I should have been cloning with SSH. So if I use the repo, but I need a username at that point. The username, where can I find that?
You want a hint?
Fine, I'll get a hint.
What branch are you on right now?
Get empty. I'm on the master branch. Wow, okay. Okay, I didn't even notice that it said empty instead of master there. Okay. Well, that, okay. So, how do I get on the box now with that? I can just replace that with a netstat session back to me, because I'm guessing it runs the update. Wait. What? When does it run that? Makes. Oh, there we go. There's some more information. Oh, if you push the script, it runs the script. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I just have to make a reverse netcat session. So I'm going to open up, instead of using tmux, I'm just going to open up another window. Netcat tac. What was the tag VVV? No, that's if you want more information. I'll just look it up. Netcat reverse shell. I wonder if the box even has netcat. I don't know. We'll find out. So netcat is really. I don't know about that. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. So Nick, netcat.
I don't remember what the netcat flags are for reverse shell. You just search Google a netcat reverse shell pops up.
That's what it says. Netcat listener on the attacker box. Just use this.
That's not the one I was. That's not the one I've used.
Netcat listener.
I think it's just to LP.
LP. Yeah, that's what it says. Attack L, attack P.
Oh, you got a name dash.
Yeah. And then I just
So close. So far.
your credentials are. So close. Okay. Cat readme. I wonder if it's in the history. No, it's not in the history. Is that a waste of time? That's a waste of time. Is it blank because the credentials are blank?
Always ask for another hint.
Just gonna not ask for a hint. Anyone wanna interject here? No? Okay. Jake, you have any more comments?
Drawing a blank, sorry.
Get exploitation. I've never done this before, so it's a learning experience.
You may want to hint if you're going to get on the box and do more. It just gets harder from here.
You're very close.
See, when I went to branches, I thought there would be a list of branches. That's why I didn't think there was any more branches. How to authenticate with SS or with Git?
So you said the answer, how you find the credentials. But then you're like, nah. So rethink what you've been doing since you've gotten on.
Git file history. Git K. That's not a thing. Get log file. Get log tac p. What does P do? I don't see P here. Why is everyone saying get K? Is get K a thing?
I've never used it.
Like, I think this is just what I'm gonna have to do. Get log tac P. There's the password. Ooh, yip-de-doo, I found the password. Now I have to like save it because it's being mean. Copy. Jeffrey? You have a friend named Jeffrey or something? At least make it funny. Get push origin master. There we go. Now we wait.
Since it takes 5 minutes, I'll tell you right now your payload's not going to work.
Why is my payload not going to work?
Tech E is not a valid flag for netcat on Ubuntu.
Is that?
It's not going to fix it. Netcat's not the answer.
Netcot's not the answer?
You did the cache.
What can I what can
I mean,
I
you might be able to do the netcat. You can try it, but that's not what I used.
Once more, thinking out loud, and it might be a stupid thought. You could try those credentials, not necessarily just to mess with that shell script. You could, can you also just plant whatever you like onto the Git web server?
Good.
And so can you use
why don't I just, since I have script access, I can just run a script. I can just open SSH, run the script, or I can just like sudo, or like not sudo, but like services, SSH is running. I saw that it's running, so I don't need to start the service, but I can change the password of that user with the,
you could just try SSHing with that username and password open.
yeah, I could.
But like my thought is like it would be very easy to just drop like PHP bash or something on there and navigate to it. Is that not possible?
Yeah, that is, but if I can just SSH into it,
I guess it leaves less out there footprint if you just SSH into it.
It does not. Your method does not work.
Mine?
You can't create a user unless you're root.
You can change your password.
You need your current password. I guess I'm just gonna have to get a shell, a reverse shell. So Ubuntu reverse shell. Everyone says use netcat, but what about this?
Oh yeah. basically redirect output to a certain file that points towards like a certain port to effectively accomplish the same thing as netcat. I don't know if that's the case on this particular machine, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that before on some.
I think a bash reverse shell would work. So let's copy this.
So that's web encoded. You don't need to do web encoded. Since it takes 5 minutes per run, would you like me to just give you the correct payload, because it's going to be a decent.
Let me find it. If it's not correct, tell me. Is this correct?
That's the web encoded one.
Is this one?
You should try the ones on the on the reverse shell cheat sheet. The monkey page. Pinhead's monkey. Those are high quality.
Okay.
Wait, what's the difference between that one right there and the one that he was about to use?
That one, the other one was web encoded.
It technically would have worked, the web encoded one.
Maybe. You don't know because you don't know what interpreter's been sitting on the other side. Except for you do know what interpreter is sitting on the other side because you have a shebang on. Which hint you need to change to bash.
This?
Yes.
Is my listener still up? I need to change this to 8080. Netcat will load that, right? Well, I can, if I listen on 8080. Get add just cause. I don't know why I did that. Gosh dang it. I really need to fix that. JJ.
Let me hop on the box and run it, let's we don't have to wait 5 minutes. Because it runs every 5 minutes on the 5th minute. So that's 5 minutes from now. Don't look. I see the username.
So, does anyone have any questions about what I've been doing so far and why I've been doing it? No? Everyone's good? This is a really long password.
No, I'm also running the update script.
Isn't it just bash update.sh?
Nope. It's a bunch of things.
Nick likes to be fancy.
Your listener wasn't working. Yeah, you put the wrong source address in your.
Yeah, you're right. I put 101 instead of 100.
Yeah, change it.
So
like, it's noted that it can be really difficult to debug these payloads because he's not going to get any feedback based off this, and then you also need to push it. Because it's like, the only reason why we know it failed is because I'm on the console and just tried to run. It's like, that's something you should be very, very mindful of checking, is to understand why your payloads are failing. And you can run these locally as well, which is a useful way to test them.
there we go. Now I have a session. And it looks like, and I'm going to, you know, so it looks like I'm in some random config, or I'm in bin with a ton of configs. Looks like pip's installed, Python 2 is installed, easy install. Let's see where I can go. Can I go, or let's see who I am. Who am I? I'm simple config. That's not really helpful because I want to be a user. CD dark army.
Permission denied.
Well, there is Leon, White Rose, and Angela. And also there's Crow. I'm pretty sure that's the honeypot use. Yeah, Cowie's the honeypot. So let's see what I can do in Angela, because Angela is not a good hacker. Is there nothing? Does Angela literally have nothing? Interesting. that took not long.
Should be noted that your bash history file should only be readable by your own user.
This is a bad config. That's why I said Angela's bad. She doesn't know how to set things up. Therefore, I have a password. So I'm going to SSH tac SSH Angela at 192.168.0.
1.0.56.
Yeah, you're right. Sad.
I just mashed on my keyboard at 1 a.m.
Well, now I'm on the box as a user instead of this, so I can close out of this because I don't care.
Yeah, I gave you that because I didn't want you to be stuck in a netcat session the entire time.
How fast did you think I'd find it?
Very quickly. That was the goal, is to get user really, really quickly.
So let's see what White Rose does. There's no bash history for White Rose. Drats. Dude, Leon the assassin? Like, I don't know if I want to be messing around with this stuff. Oh, dude, he's got a ton of stuff. Let's see what's in it. Let's see his bash history. Bash. Or cat.bash history. I don't have permission. I don't have permission to any of these things. So now we have to start enumeration. This is the fun part, as Nick would like to say. So I'm going to just, I have some commands that I like to run, a guide per se that I like look at. You can write your own guide. I just use this one because, it's nice. And for the sake of time, I'm going to put this on my other monitor and run them, or write them in the console, so I don't have to keep moving screens. So let's put this.
It's also been noted that because he has SSH access, it makes it really easy to drop payloads on there. If you don't have SSH access, you can use something like Python Simple HTTP server and curl them or wget them across.
Which is actually done a lot.
Yeah, and it's a really, really simple way because they almost always have some sort of web client that they can pull things with. It is not super common that you will be given an SSH user that can SCP files over. This is just a convenience thing because when you're dealing with a netcat reverse session, sometimes they just decide to crash and then you have a sad time because you lose your progress. And so I didn't want that to happen for the sake of it.
So, the first thing that I'm going to do is just kind of see what kind of environment I'm in. Looks like I'm in Ubuntu 14.04. Anyways, so I'm going to also, I'm gonna see if there's any. I don't think that there's any kernel exploits for this, but you know it's a good thing to check. So if I just kernel Ubuntu 14.04 kernel.
That's what I do. That's the first thing I check is the kernel version up to date. Especially the number of kernel vulnerabilities that have come out in the last 2 years. There's been 2 major ones. StatFlash gives you root. Dirty Cow gives you root.
Fourteen point oh 4.1. Don't think there's a kernel exploit for this. Yeah, I don't think there's a kernel exploit for this. Sad days. Oh well, back to enumeration. So, next, I want to see what kind of processes are running, so we can see what's running. That's root. Leon's running bash. This is what?
This is the actual fun part.
So let's. Nick, stop laughing.
I can't help it. It's funny.
I've literally broken, like, I only asked for one hint this entire time.
I'm just laughing because I can't wait for you to find it. It's like when you're playing hide and go seek and someone's about to find you and you can't help from snickering.
Nick's an interesting person. Oh. There's a lot of stuff running as root. I don't know if this is going to be necessarily helpful. I mean, it's helpful to see that there's a lot of stuff running as root. Oh, wait. What is this? What is this? What is this? Twisted. What is this running? Oh, this isn't running as root. This is running as crow. Hopes up for nothing. Basically, I'm just trying to find stuff that are running as root that I can maybe inject into. But I don't see anything. Okay, back to looking for more stuff. Let's see if there's like any misconfigured SUID stuff. I wonder. So this is just gonna like check everything for, or check for UID files or files that have UID on them, and I can see if there's anything interesting that he may have created that may be misconfigured. So like stuff that I know that I won't be able to get into is like bin passwd, or I mean like I won't be able to exploit SUID because those are kind of default things that Linux creates. I don't see. I may be able to. I don't see anything that I can use necessarily to exploit here, so I'm just gonna.
Again, just spitballing, this may or may not be helpful, but you see Apache 2 process 1115 is being run as root? Like there's one instance of Apache being run as root? Like
I see it.
just above that cluster of www data.
My keyboard is really hot right now. And it's not because I have good hacking skills.
So I'll just go ahead and like that's how Apache functions. Apache, you have to be a root to bind. Well, you don't have to root, but a common way to bind to port 80 or any well-known port, like below 1024. So if you root, so Apache and other web servers will spawn one root user and then fork into lower level processes. So that's a standard config.
This is running as root.
It's exploit code. You already broke it.
Yeah, I know. I already got root technically.
That's Metasploit, like a real hacker. Depending on where you work, at least.
Savage. Okay. Sorry for headphone users. I think there's like 3 people watching the stream.
One of them's me.
One of them's Alan. Is one of them you? Yeah, we have like 3 people watching the stream and they're all in this room, except for Alan. I honestly don't see anything there. Jumps out as me. System, no, that's not good.
This is just sort of standard, and you may or may not find anything, but it's when you start like enumerating, like trying to find, like pretty sure you can use the find command and search based on access flags and look for set UIDs.
You didn't set you.
I already did. Yeah, it's down here. Or it's this list right here. I don't know. I don't think I can exploit any of these things. I think these are all just default.
If you want to be a real hacker some more, you could just use like somebody else's enumeration script, like Linux Crypt Checker or whatever those ones are.
Yeah, I don't want to do that because like those scripts are helpful for whenever you're doing this by yourself. But like, because I'm doing this with y'all, I would just be sifting through like mounds of data, and I don't think that they're gonna find anything useful really. What happens if I sudo? Sudo vi.
That'd be like the weakest path thing ever. You could have suited the entire time. I was gonna make a different path and I ended up not making it.
What was Angela's password again? I forgot already.
Only you had notes.
If only I had notes.
Yeah.
Why do I always do CD? Copy. Sudo su is not a sudoer. Gosh darn it, the incident's reported. I'm caught.
You were caught when you entered the honeypot.
Like, basically. Can I sudo vi? No, that's not gonna work.
You could run sudo tech-l to see what permissions you do have.
Sad days. Sad days. See what I have writable. Let's see what's writable. Writable scripts that are invoked by root. WhatsApp.
Something with extra gun. Not necessarily. Nothing on this requires exploit code anymore. Completely separate exploit.
These are all writable and that have
So your output's truncated, by the way.
yeah, I know. Etsy. Ooh, log rotate. I remember reading an exploit about that. But then again, you said that it wouldn't be anything I've read about, and you know I read about that. So is it log? Is it log rotate? I'm just gonna keep searching. Log rotate D. I'm gonna. I feel like there's a path here. I'm just searching for a log rotate for Vesk, by the way. Because I remember reading about one. Huh. So it creates a file. I don't know what I can do here, but I feel like this is the right track, so we're going to continue. I'm just reading this basically getting root with upstart sessions. Says the owner is very easy to trigger with the log rotate script Etsy daily cron daily. So basically for each log rotates requested. On a system with we'll create the directory run user UID writable by the user by preparing a suitable file system applied. CD/run user permission denied. But if I by preparing suitable session user supply code that will run on the cron job. So I just have to add this to the I should be able to write Okay, before I try this, am I on the right track?
This may work. This is not how I would exploit log rotate, but this may work.
But it is log rotate then. I've like never written a script for log rotate before, so we're gonna learn here.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So the idea behind exploiting log rotate is hoping that one of the applications that uses log rotate is vulnerable, and writing an exploit to, like, you're exploiting. In that case, you would be Upstart, right?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking of doing is using Upstart to start a script to run a root bash session. So I'm root with bash. I was told that I can do this in 2 lines. I don't know if this method can be done in 2 lines, but I was told that
This one isn't too long.
this one is.
It's not.
It's not.
The other one was 2 lines. The one to get the reverse shift.
That was the 2-line one?
Yeah.
But there's two methods to privesc.
Yep. So that's not necessarily true. There are 2 methods to read that file. One of them is not a privesc.
I don't know why I did that. I know that doesn't work. So just because he decided to give us that hint with social engineering, I'm going to try and see.
Social engineering.
Social engineering. Not actually though. Yeah, I got information without asking for a hint. That's all that matters. View file on Linux without permission.
I think what he's getting at is there is some
Way to cat out that file.
some process that doesn't necessarily have a privilege escalation vulnerability, but a arbitrary
This is
file.
what time is it?
3:05.
TikTok.
Andrew's like, so what do we do after I'm done in the first hour?
Hey, I technically got root in the first hour.
You didn't. It was after 2 o'clock when you got root.
Oh really? Oh dang. I'm a bit rusty. Okay, well I'm really hungry and I don't think I'm gonna be able to solve this in the next hour.
You want me to run through it?
Yeah. I just realized this microphone is in my jacket.
Dang, dog. Sorry, everyone on the screen. Me, Alan, and Jake. I think more enumeration needs to be done, and so that's the direction that I would be going. A useful thing to enumerate are what cron jobs are running, because it's a good idea to see what's running periodically. You can also check what services are running, but since I wrote the box, I know that it's going to be in the cron jobs. But there's a handful of ways you should be checking what services are running and who they're running by. And so this one's going to be using sysd init because it's Ubuntu 14.04. So you would read up on that, understand how that functions, and see what startup processes you have. Similarly here, you need to check your cron jobs. We have 3. Simple config, which, okay, also you should be able to read your cron jobs. Most of the time, users can read cron job files, just as an aside. You may not be able to, but it's fairly standard to let users read them. And so here we see simple config, which is running a simple config. We can check and see what this file contains. And we'll see that it's actually the exploit that we use to get user. And not really useful for us because it's running a simple config. We can check data backup, and we can see that this is a script running as root, which gives us an idea that we probably need to find something in this. So we can check user local bin backup. And we have a data exfiltration script that is quote-unquote backup. Make note of this later. That it reads the file for us and posts it to an external URL of some form or fashion, which maybe can be exploited. We can also check the log rotate script. Fun fact, it chones the directory and then runs it. This is a hacky fix to get around the fact that log rotate's been patched recently. But if you know more about log rotate does allow arbitrary code execution. And so if you man logrotate.conf, you can read the different configuration files options you can give. And if you see here, logrotate does have a script option. And so if you can write a logrotate script, if you can write a config for logrotate, you will have code execution guaranteed, as long as it executes.
On the right track.
Modern versions of logrotate, they check for the permissions of the file. It has to be only writable by root and has to be owned by root, which hampers the exploitation process. But because it's choning, because bad config, we can just simply write a logrotate script to get a reverse handler. Let me open up a new tab for that. Actually, I'll just.
It's BC because I don't have mine.
Okay. I can just copy and paste this. Whoa.
You can close that out.
How close? Oh. Close. There we go. So we can copy and paste this script. Copy. Like reading man files is super useful if you don't know what you're doing with, especially like if you've never written a logrotate config. You probably have never touched it, of course. And so we can do vi loot.txt. We could do this with any file because we're root running as logrotate, so we can edit anything we want. But so let's go ahead and make this loot. Control-Alt-V. Control-Shift-V. You're right.
You need to be in, you're in Vi. So
You're right. And then so. Well, there's just some like random facts, and this requires knowing a decent amount of logrotate. So if you see that logrotate is writable, you should really start doing a lot of reading and try to understand how logrotate works. But in this case, it backups a script if it backs up your log files if you think you need to. And so this is generally due to file size or time frame, and it allows you to store more logs without having a giant file or a lot of storage space. And so we can set monthly, we don't care. Rotate to, we don't care. Old deer, we don't care. Missing OK, we don't care. But knowing logrotate, there's a handful of directives. We want to enforce that this script is going to run basically no matter what. And because I also know the size of the file we're going to try to rotate, we can make this max size is equal to 2 bytes. So if the file is larger than 2 bytes, it's going to rotate it. And let's move this to temp log rotate. And post rotate, we can actually use the payload we already dropped handily, which is nice. And so we can just run temp simple config. I don't remember the name of the file. Update.sh. Yeah, you're right. And then BC. Control BC? Yeah. And then we can set up our netcat listener. You're listening on 4040, right? 8080, right?
Yeah.
Listen, port 8080.
Do it again.
So that's will start listening for us, and so whenever we actually configure this, it'll run our payload. So, whoa. Yeah, there we go. And so we have what is our malicious log rotate file.
Is this supposed to be space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, it doesn't really matter, but yeah. And so we can write that. And then we can sudo, not sudo, my bad, vi temp log rotate, fill it with gibberish long enough to be rotated, and then wait. The cron job runs every 5 minutes. And so when the cron job runs, we will get to see it call back. Fortunately, log files in the system are also, oh, dang, we can't read logs. Unfortunate. If you had the ability to read logs, you could be more easily diagnosing your script. In this case, it's just going to be trial and error until you get it to work, unfortunately. But we can wait. When we have success on run, we should be getting,
You can watch.
well, yeah, 644. So because I also know the permissions, you have to change that as well. So the script should change the permissions of the file and then execute it. And that'll happen in like
50 seconds.
50 seconds. So we can, while we wait, we can move on to the, actually let me make sure the file's right. So it should be running temp log rotate simple config update.sh. Yep. So that'll be run as root, and then we will have full access as soon as it executes, assuming it does execute. I may have some bad config in my old dir, so I'm going to get rid of that.
20 seconds.
And then we wait 10 more seconds, and it should execute. If not, you can just continue trial and error. I can't guarantee that what I typed will work on the fly. It's relatively difficult to penetration test in front of everyone, just because it's really easy to make mistakes. Control B2. And my handler did not fire. So we can check the different things that happened. If I can Control B0, we can check and see if it was choned, and it wasn't choned. So that could be a problem with the log rotate side. I wrote that fairly ad hoc. So the script may have failed, actually, unfortunately. But there is another way to exploit. So we go to etc, and we check what's writable. You can either do that with find or with a quick ls. It's going to be faster with find, but with ls, you can just check what permissions you can write to. Given the right find command, you would find that etc hosts is writable, which means you can do a DNS poisoning attack. And since the entire system relies on DNS, you have to be able to, anything that's not HTTPS verifying certs, or anything that's TOS verifying certs, you now have control over. And so in this case, you could edit the etc host file to point the domain that we found back in user local bin. We can take this file, the backup script, and change where it points. And so you could just exfiltrate data that way. You just make backup.darkarmy point to a server you control. It could be the server, and then view the data it posted, and you also have the data. And that is that. I'm not going to write it because it takes a decent amount of time. But that's it. That's how you would do data exfil after popping.
Yep. That's privilege escalation for you.
The majority things I would recommend when you get started is check what you can write, check what you can read. Those two are really good ways to identify where you should be going. Check your cron jobs, check your services, see what's there, see what's custom. That's like, likely you're not going to find anything that's built in that's broken, unless that's like more of a patching level problem. But when you're dealing with custom things, people configure things wrong all the time, just because it's really easy to do so. And so like knowing about log rotate doesn't always provide you everything you need. And so if you're trying to customize things, really easy to screw things up because it runs as root. Other than that, sudo tacl is great because you can see what you can do. Capsh is also good. Maybe not L. Capsh. Print. Capsh is also great. If for some reason he wasn't using SSH, this will print the capabilities that you have. And so you may not be sudo. You may not have sudo. You may not have root. But if you have certain capabilities, you can continue to exploit down that path. That's not going to happen with SSH, but with something like the simple config backdoor, you may be able to do it that way. And that is Linux exploitation in a nutshell. Really playing around in Etsy is also a good way. Seeing what you can read in Etsy, like if we check Etsy now, Etsy shadows where passwords are stored. We can see that we can't read it, which is good. But if you're trying to do further enumeration, you can check Etsy passwords, see what users are on the box. Nothing useful because we already know what we're doing. But that's just getting more information. I think it's worthwhile to get as much information as possible before you pick a path, because you may be taking the hard path. But that's it. Just breadth versus depth. It's a different approach. And that's it. Do y'all have any questions?
So when you initially searched for writable files, did Etsy hosts pop up there?
Yep.
I just didn't see it.
Yeah, if you can write to Etsy hosts, it's a dead giveaway that you can probably do DNS poisoning on some level. It may not end up being useful, but Etsy hosts is the first level of resolution for DNS before it hits your DNS resolver, so like Google or whatever DHCP provides. And so if you can do DNS poisoning there, anything that isn't cert validated, you now control, which is actually a super big deal. Because as long as they're not checking certificates, which can even be bypassed to an extent, if you have more level control on the file system, you can really start mucking with their remote connections, which is pretty handy. SSH is going to be hard because it does store public keys. TLS or HTTPS is going to be hard because you have to have a valid CA. But past that, pretty easy. Any other questions?
So you're saying if it's HTTPS, you don't have to worry about it?
Generally. That's like if it's HTTPS, as long as they cannot force a confirm of the certificate, then yes, you don't have to worry about it. Because like let's say, so my domain name is coollinux.com. No valid CA should issue a certificate for that domain name to anyone but me. And so on this system, because we don't have access to the certificate authorities, I cannot force them to validate my cert. But if they're not validating identity, and they just say, yes, we're using HTTPS, but we don't care who we're talking to, then you're vulnerable. I mean, it really just depends on the configuration. It's just not a guaranteed like HTTP is. Any other questions? Yeah, and that's it. Thank you all for coming. I'll probably make a video write-up of me building it. That way you can follow along there if you're interested in how I made it. And I'll probably make tweaks to things that didn't work. Log rotate in particular. It was working at one point, but then I made more tweaks this morning that broke it. But yeah, I'll fix that up. And then thank you.
I'll write up on what I did.
Yeah.
And like how to actually exploit log rotate after you fix
Yeah.
stuff.
And that's that. Thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, you can always ask. Check us out on Slack. The video will go up on YouTube if you're wanting to watch another 3.5 hours of this, probably tonight.
Skimming is